Good damn afternoon, Americans. Jericho Green here with you once again. Get over to jerichogreen.net. Got exclusive videos I only put on my website, so if you want to know what I'm talking about, get over to the website. $3.99 monthly sub. Things I talk about there, I will not be talking about on YouTube. $3.99 monthly sub, jerichogreen.net. So, folks, the world is literally becoming unhinged. Supply chains are breaking down and the critical shortages are showing up left and right. People can sense that the other shoe is about to drop. They're ordering emergency food like crazy, which means you should too, before you can't get any. I'm talking about the high quality emergency food you get from My Patriot Supply. They're the nation's leading preparedness company, and they've served millions of American families. Right now, they want to help you by giving you $100 off their best-selling 3-month emergency food kit. This food stays fresh for up to 25 years in proper storage, so it will be there when you need it. And the meals in this food kit average over 2,000 calories per day. So don't wait. Go to preparewithjericho.com and claim your 3-month emergency food kit while you still can. You'll save $100 per kit if you act now. That's preparewithjericho.com. There continues to be a surge of orders. Make sure yours is one of them. Preparewithjericho.com. So finally, I had a chance to watch the Chappelle stand-up special, The Closer, on Netflix. I had to watch it in like 2 parts because I had to be a grown-up and go to bed at a reasonable hour to wake up in the morning. So I finished it yesterday, and in a nutshell, I think it was a great special. I think it was probably my favorite special that he's done for Netflix. Now, Killing Them Softly and all that stuff before is different, but for the Netflix specials that he did, I think that was by far the best one. I think that him catching some heat for the other ones he did culminated in this one. And if you listen to the mainstream mediocres and those other empty-headed dumbasses out there, you will think that this was just a transphobic. I can't stand when they throw phobia on different things. Phobia implies an irrational fear. Nobody has an irrational fear of transgender people. Chances are most people don't even know one. But of course, they throw those buzzwords around, their talking points. Transphobic. You would think this was just a transphobic attack by somebody who hates them, but it's quite the contrary. You're dealing with a master. And in the special, I highly recommend that you see it, especially now. And there was a little bit of SJW bullshit in there. You know, Dave Chappelle, he says he had a special called 8:46, 8 minutes and 46 seconds, how long the cop was leaning on George Floyd, blah, blah, blah. So he does have a little bit of SJW bullshit sprinkled in there, but overall, it's a good special. And of course, it's getting all of his hype and all his publicity because of what he said about transgender people. Now, what he said was not bad. I did a video about a week ago. The Netflix employees were having a walkout and a protest in front of the Netflix building. It was all bullshit. And I also mentioned the stupid, loud-ass, flamboyant, transgender black person they had out there. Turns out that person's a racist piece of shit. Go on my Instagram page, @JGTalk, and there's footage of that person talking, and then it cuts from them talking to tweets that they put out, which happen to be very anti-Asian, talking about slapping Asian people and Mexican people too. Speak fucking English. These are quotes. All right. This is what this kind, loving, accepting, diverse person was saying about Asians and Mexicans. But, you know, they live under the multiple layers of victimhood. I'm trans, I'm black, and all this kind of stuff. So they're bulletproof. You can't touch them. You treat them like children. They're not responsible for the things that come out of their mouth. They don't know any better. But of course, the ones yelling the loudest, calling people phobes and ists, they are an ist themselves. What a piece of shit. But what he is accused of saying about trans people, if you actually, like most cases, if you actually look at what they're talking about, it's not like that. It was actually a story he was telling about a person that he knew who was trans, and how they became friends, and how this person would open up for him when he would come to San Francisco, and how they formed a friendship. And how on one of his last specials, he said something about transgender people, which was true. And they were talking shit about him on Twitter. But one thing I like that he said, he's, oh yeah, people were dragging me on Twitter, but I don't give a fuck because Twitter's not a real place. Yes, thank you. Somebody else is saying that. Twitter it's social media. It's not real. But he's talking about this person and how they were dragging him on Twitter, or talking shit about him on Twitter from that one special that he did. So this person, I believe her name was Daphne, this person, this trans person that he's friends with, gets on Twitter and says, you guys got it all wrong. You are merely witnessing a master at his craft. He said, and then they accused him of punching down. And the person said, he doesn't punch up, he doesn't punch down, he just punches lines, and you're witnessing a master at work. That's what the person said. A very nice thing to say, but very dangerous if you're going up against the Ku Klux Trans. So they get on there and come to his defense. Didn't say anything bad, only truth, but that's a no-no. It's taboo nowadays. So he said that they went after her so bad on Twitter, all these terrible things for days, and then his friend ended up killing herself. Now, we said, I'm sure she had other things going on in her life that contributed to this, but I'm sure what they faced from the Ku Klux Trans on Twitter did not help. And he's basically saying, you guys need to be brought to task over the shit that you say and do to people. You're not bulletproof. You can't go out here saying all these terrible things about people, canceling people, taking away their livelihood. You're no fucking angel. He's on a bunch of bullshit. And he said, he was talking about the dictionary definition of a feminist. And it says a human being. It doesn't say a woman. I always figured a feminist was a woman who was out for women's rights. To be honest, I still do. So if somebody's a male feminist, that sounds fucking weird and weak. A male feminist. But anyway, that's just what I think. But he says the dictionary says it's a human being that is fighting for the rights of women. And he said this whole time, I thought it just meant frumpy dyke. That's a quote. That's what Dave Chappelle said. So yeah, overall, I thought it was a great special. He is a master at his craft, and he is very good, one of the best at what he does. And so he did a response to all the backlash he's getting for his special. And he says that these people want to talk to me and they want me to come to their office. He's like, no, I will not. He says, I will not be summoned. You're not going to summon me and tell me to come see you with my head down, my hat in my hand, my tail between my legs. He says, no, I will tell you when to meet me at a place of my choosing. And he says, before I meet with you, you need to watch the entire special. Don't take snippets and sound bites and make up your mind about what I said. He said, watch the entire special, because he does put a nice bow on top at the end with that story. And it's really messed up that friend of his killed herself. But like he said, that may not have been what made them kill themselves, but it didn't help. And you guys are assholes, basically. Great special. Check it out. Now, something is not so great. You remember Ilhan, the double Somali agent, Omar. She is the governor a congresswoman for Minnesota, and Minneapolis is in her district. And also, I'm not familiar with the layout of Minnesota or Minneapolis, but I also know that a place called Little Mogadishu is in her district, where you find, I think it's the highest number of, or one of the highest numbers of Somalis, one of the highest Somali populations outside of Somalia. And you're welcome for us saving you from that war-torn shithole, by the way, Ilhan Omar. But she had the nerve to fix her disgusting, ungrateful immigrant mouth to say that the reason that crime is so high, that there's such a spike in crime, it's up 17%, is not because of her failed policies. It's because of the cops. It's the cops' fault that the crime is going up. I thought it was usually the cops' fault when the crime goes down, but now it's the cops' fault when the crime goes up. And she's saying that they're dysfunctional and they're not doing what they're supposed to do. They're not fulfilling their oath to the people of Minnesota. How is that? She said the police aren't doing their job, and that she wants to replace the entire police department with, now this is on a November 2nd initiative. She wants to sign this into law, that they replace the police department with a Department of Public Safety. That sounds like a lot less cops and a lot more social workers with clipboards going out in the community to be assaulted and murdered. Because if you see what they do to cops, what do you think they're going to do to somebody that shows up with the utility belt with no gun or taser on it? There's video out there right now in New York City. They got these little meter maid types instead of the cops. They pull this dude over. There's 3 of them. They pull this guy over. He gets out of his car and proceeds to beat the shit out of all 3 of them. But hey, Department of Public Safety sounds good. Now, of course, we all know, those of us who are partially intelligent at least, know that there are bad people in every job. No matter how important that job is, or how highly it's held, how high regard you hold it in, there are going to be bad people. There are bad doctors. There are bad surgeons. How many surgeons out there have left their latex glove or a tool inside of someone's body? How many doctors have cut off the wrong foot or hand? That's why now, if you're getting something amputated, they will write, cut off this one. These are doctors, surgeons, trained specialists. We know there are bad cops. There's bad teachers. There was a teacher in my brother's high school that told him, you won't be more than a doorman. Now my brother has 2 college degrees, a master's degree. He served in 2 branches of the military, owns more than 1 home, and has a beautiful family. So fuck you, Mr. Forget. There are bad people everywhere. Catholic priest, anybody? There are plenty of people in highly regarded jobs or jobs with a lot of responsibility that are bad at it. Cops are no different. We know that. But for the most part, they are good, they are noble, and they are brave. Shout out to my man, Officer Hickey. Right there on the front lines. You're going to sit there and tell those police that come from some of the most fucked up, violent places in the country, in your district, that it's their fault. Well, if the police are pulling back, why do you think that is? I think there's a term for it. It's called the Ferguson effect. Remember that hands up, don't shoot? What sparked the bullshit CBLM? Certain Black Lives Matter? Was a whole Michael Brown situation. And what they found was when you attack the police and come at the police like that, they are going to pull back. And we all know the saying, when the cat's away, the mice are going to do fucked up shit. So when you hound and berate and harass your police department and you don't back them up, they are going to, you tell them, no, leave them alone. Don't be so rough with them. Stop that. Don't give them tickets. It's not their fault. That's what they're going to do. You tell them to back off, they're going to back off. When the police back off, the criminals don't, you stupid ass. What is the return policy on a failed immigrant? What happens if you get somebody that comes here and they turn out to be a fucking idiot? Can we send them back? Because if so, I got a candidate right here. Ilhan Omar, you are the most ungrateful turd I've ever seen. And you suck at your job, you and the rest of the 4 whores of the apocalypse, aka the squad. The nerve. And you want to, so you're complaining about how shit is now, but you want to replace them with a Department of Public Safety. What does that mean? Aren't the police already in the Department of Public Safety? She called them dysfunctional. It's your fault. Coming from the woman who slept with a married man after marrying her own brother. Can you hear that? Can you hear it off in the distance? Somebody move this transmission so I can take a bath. You brotherfuckers, shut up. The nerve. Somebody look into that and let me know if there's an expiration. You know, if you buy something from a store, you got 30 days to return it. Is that the same for people who immigrate here from other countries? Because if so, if that is a thing we can do, I got one right here that we need to bounce back to Somalia. And when you get back to Somalia, see if you can run for government and get up there and start telling those Muslim men what they're about to do. I don't think so, jackass. Man, let me get home with my beautiful wife and kids, because you know what we're doing tonight? We are carving pumpkins and making pizza. But you know how it goes. I try to be done with the left, but they just won't let me. Please subscribe. Hit that notification bell, because every time it rings, a piece of shit lefty cries. Make sure you utilize the Linktree link. Get your ass over to JerichoGreen.net. I am Jericho Green. Man, I'm out.